Bid rigging gang busted as 21 people are arrested over alleged graft in housing estate renovation projects. Hong Kong stocks make red debut on the first trading day of 2026, thanks to a tech rally. And the government may trim down the application process for medical fee waivers after complaints of clumsy procedures. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Quentin Yang. The city's anti-graft body has arrested 21 people, including individuals with suspected triad links, in a major crackdown on a bid rigging syndicate targeting two housing estate renovation projects in Kwun Tong, one valued at $33 million. Jeremy Zhu reports.
The Independent Commission Against Corruption apprehended 15 men and 6 women, aged between 30 and 81, for their involvement in a triad-linked corruption syndicate. Among them were intermediaries, engineering consultants, contractors, and members of the Housing Estate Owners and Corporations, some of whom were believed to have ties to triad societies. The corruption watchdog revealed the syndicate used bribes to sway engineering consultants and members of the estate's owners' corporations to secure contracts. In a separate scheme still in planning, syndicate members allegedly gathered homeowners' proxy votes through corrupt means, aiming to take control of an estate's governing body for future profit. The ICAC searched the offices of the implicated engineering consultants and contractors involved, seizing evidence including bidding documents. The Commission has also contacted relevant stakeholders of the two housing estates to remind them of the corruption risks when handling the projects in question. The arrests come amid growing public concern over bid rigging and the use of substandard materials, suspicions heightened by November's deadly fire at Wangfu Court in Taipo, which claimed at least 161 lives. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
Shares in Hong Kong soared on the first trading day of 2026, sending the benchmark Hang Seng Index to its highest level in 1.5 months. Technology stocks led the rally, with Baidu and NetEase becoming the best-performing blue chips of the day. Hang Seng Index opened 86 points higher to make a red debut on the first trading day of the new year and continued to gain momentum throughout the day, recovering both the 100-day and 50-day average to land above the 26,000 mark. The benchmark index surged 707 points to close at 26,338. This marks the index's largest first-day points increase since its inauguration in November 1969. Despite a lack of southbound funds, as mainland is observing New Year holidays, market turnover remained relatively high at $140.8 billion. Baidu's artificial intelligence chip subsidiary Kunlun plans to list in Hong Kong, driving its shares to a 2-year high, soaring some 9%. Meanwhile, NetEase remains a favorite of investment banks, with Citi Research and UBS keeping it in their top pick or buy lists. NetEase rebounded to see a 2-month high. Alibaba and Tencent both ticked up 4%. Semiconductor stocks were in demand. Hua Hong Semiconductor most acquiring Shanghai Huali Microelectronics. Its shares jumped up by more than 9%. SMIC gained more than 5%, while ASMPT and Shanghai Fudan Microelectronics both ended 4% higher. Hong Kong's retail sector extended its recovery into November, marking a 7th straight month of growth, though the pace moderated slightly and fell short of forecasts. Official data shows the value of total retail sales last month reached $33.7 billion, marking a 6.5% year-on-year increase. This growth, however, represents a moderation from October's 6.9% rise and missed analyst expectations of an 8.6% gain. The sustained expansion was fueled by increases in several categories, most notably electronic goods and consumer durables, which surged by 38.6%. Conversely, sectors like supermarkets, fuels, books, and newspapers saw sales decline. A government spokesman noted that retail sales have maintained their recovery momentum, supported by gradually improving local consumption sentiment amid steady economic growth. The government anticipates this trend, along with vibrant inbound tourism, will continue to benefit retail businesses. The hospital authority said it needs more time to assess whether waiting times at emergency rooms have shortened under a new pricing regime. Officials also pledged to review the process patients have to go through to secure medical fee waivers, following complaints of tedious bureaucracy. Jamie Liu shares more.
This morning, the waiting area of a public hospital emergency room looked rather sparse after the new fees took effect on New Year's Day. The HA said around 3,800 people sought treatment at accident and emergency departments yesterday, slightly fewer than usual. However, speaking on a radio program, the authority's chief manager Larry Lee said it was too early to tell how the price changes would affect A&E services. Lee also addressed confusion among patients at specialist outpatient clinics who now have to pay $20 per prescribed item, covering up to 4 weeks' supply of drugs. The chief manager explained that 4 weeks were a unit for fee calculation and did not mean that patients would only get a maximum 4 weeks of drugs. Meanwhile, concerned groups called on HA to streamline the application procedure for fee waivers, which requires underprivileged patients to submit supporting documents. Ivan Lin from Society for Community Organization said some residents had to pay multiple visits to hospital and take leave from work to meet with medical social workers during the process. He suggested the government keep a closer liaison between case handlers of social welfare schemes and fee waiver application to avoid repeated efforts in financial assessments. In response, HA said it would process the applications with flexibility and review the current procedures to see if there is room for improvement. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Schools and students welcomed a newly effective smoking ban that prohibits smoking within 3 meters of school entrances. Some pupils even believe the restricted zones could be expanded further. Jeremy Zhu tells us more.
On the first school day under the new regulations, several secondary schools in Kwaichon reported no one smoking near their premises in the morning. Under the new rules, smoking within 3 meters of a school entrance now carries a fixed penalty fine of $3,000. This student expressed support for the law, stating whether it's second-hand or first-hand smoke, it's bad for everyone's health. Another suggested expanding the smoke-free zone from 3 to 10 meters. Several schools in the area had not yet displayed the new no-smoking signs produced by the Tobacco and Alcohol Control Office, with some stating they had not received them. Wang Ting-hong, head of Cotton Spinners Association Secondary School, said there is currently no plan to mark a physical line at the entrance. If we encounter violators, we will advise them first. In more troublesome situations, we will seek assistance from the police or relevant authorities, he stated. The new tobacco control measures also designate areas within 3 meters of entrances to residential care homes, hospitals, clinics, and health centers as no-smoking zones. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
With the cold front still affecting Hong Kong, temperatures in many parts of the city fell to 12 degrees Celsius or below this morning, and some residents were on a grocery run to prepare for a warming meal. Jamie Liu reports.
Residents wrapped themselves in warm clothes as the mercury at the observatory in Tsim Sha Tsui dropped to just 12.8 degrees at 8:15 a.m., the lowest so far this winter. The forecaster said the chill would continue into tomorrow morning, with 12 degrees in urban areas and a few degrees lower in the new territories. With the cold weather warning in force, some residents developed a craving for a hot pot dinner tonight, going from stall to stall at the Kowloon City Market to gather the necessary ingredients. In the following couple of days, the weather is expected to be mainly fine and dry before turning warmer on Sunday and Monday. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Northern coastal areas of Japan are experiencing heavy snowfall, with significant accumulations also forecast for eastern and western regions. In Niigata Prefecture, flatland areas are covered in deep snow, with roofs and car bonnets blanketed, as if by a thick quilt. 65 centimeters of snow was recorded in the prefecture, the highest national total, followed by Fukui and Hiroshima prefectures. Due to a powerful cold front and winter pressure patterns, eastern and western regions are also forecast for intense snowfall. Japanese weather officials have warned residents to be vigilant for snow accumulation and icy roads. With the recent travel peak period, those needing to drive to the affected areas are urged to fit winter tires and carry snow chains. At least 40 people have been killed and 115 injured in a bar fire at a Swiss ski resort on New Year's Day. Authorities described it as the nation's worst tragedy and are investigating into the cause of the fire and identifying the victims, with a preliminary assessment ruling out an attack. Jeremy Zhu reports.
Online footage shows the bar's basement ceiling catching fire, with some people attempting to put out the flames. People were seen hurriedly evacuating via the staircase. Some tried to escape through windows. The bar was located in the ski resort of Crans-Montana in the southwestern canton of Valais. A memorial mass was held at a nearby church, while flowers and candles have been placed at the scene in tribute. The fire broke out around 1 a.m. on New Year's Day during a celebration event. Most of the casualties are young people. Many suffered severe burns, while some in critical condition. Several injured were taken to hospitals in neighboring countries, including France. Nearly 150 rescue personnel, more than 10 helicopters, and 40 ambulances were involved in the response. As a number of foreigners are among the dead, police say it may take several days to complete identification works. One witness recalled that, shortly before the fire, someone raised a champagne bottle with fireworks attached to it. It is suspected sparks may have ignited the wooden ceiling. Local public prosecutors stated that a flashover occurred during the incident, causing everything in the room to burn almost instantly, resulting in an explosion. The initial view is that the fire was accidental, and investigations continue into the cause and safety compliance. Swiss Federation President Guy Parmelin cancelled his New Year's address. Firework displays in several regions were called off, and the federal parliament will fly flags at half-mast for 5 days in mourning. Jeremy Zhu, Cable News.
The New Year's transition in the Netherlands was marked by a wave of unprecedented violence, leaving 2 people dead, a historic church in Amsterdam gutted, and emergency services across the country under sustained attack. New Year's celebrations turned fatal in the northwestern European country after 2 men were killed in separate fireworks incidents in Aalsmeer and Nijmegen. Additionally, local police described an unprecedented amount of violence against emergency workers, with officers being pelted with fireworks and petrol bombs across the country. The chaos was so severe that just after midnight, a rare nationwide mobile alert was issued, urging people only to call emergency services for life-threatening situations. The night's destruction culminated in a towering inferno at the 19th century Vondelkerk Church in Amsterdam in the early hours of New Year's Day. The blaze caused the building's spire to collapse and severely damaged the roof, sending showers of cinders that forced evacuation of dozens of nearby homes. The cause of the fire is not yet known, though suspicions have turned to stray fireworks. Authorities made approximately 250 arrests nationwide during the violent celebrations. The night of chaos comes on the eve of a nationwide ban on consumer fireworks, which is set to come into force this year. Despite the impending prohibition, a record €129 million was spent on fireworks this season. The first residential plot to close tender this year, a site in Jordan Valley, has attracted 8 bids. Among those submitted their bids were CK Asset, Henderson Land, and Sino Land. The site, located at Chahing Road, measures about 41,000 square feet, with a maximum gross floor area of 370,000 square feet. It is designated for non-industrial purposes, but excluding go-down, hotel, and petrol filling station, and is expected to yield 570 units. Under the conditions of sale, the successful bidder has to build a day activity center, hostel for persons with severe intellectual disability, a supported hostel for persons with intellectual disability, and a lay-by. Market valuation for the plot ranges between $930 million and $2.23 billion, which translates to as high as $6,000 per square feet. On to the weather now. Fine and dry, cold tomorrow morning with a minimum temperature of about 12 degrees. The maximum temperature will be around 17 degrees during the day. And that's our news tonight. I'm Quentin Yang. Thank you for watching. Good night.